Imagine waking up tomorrow with 3 extra hours in your day, every day. What would you accomplish with those 21 extra hours each week? A side business? Learning a new language? Finally writing that book? Maybe just watching 3 more hours of Netflix? No judgment here. Here's the shocking truth. Those hours already exist in your day. They're just being stolen right under your nose like cookies from a jar with a really obvious culprit, you. Over the next few minutes, I'm going to reveal the invisible productivity killers that successful people eliminated on their way to the top. Habits so deeply ingrained, you might not even recognize them as problems. The most disturbing part? You might be actively proud of some of these productivity destroyers. Could your good habits actually be sabotaging your success? Spoiler alert! That color-coded calendar with no bathroom breaks scheduled might be part of the problem, not the solution. When someone asks how you've been lately, what's your default response? If it's some version of "so busy" delivered with an exhausted yet somehow proud smile, I need you to pay very close attention to what I'm about to share, and maybe sit down. Not because it's shocking, but because you probably need the rest. Busyness has become a strange status symbol in our culture, a way of signaling importance, demand for our time and dedication. We wear our exhaustion like Olympic medals. "I'm surviving on 4 hours of sleep and pure caffeine" is somehow a brag, not a cry for help. But here's the uncomfortable truth. The most accomplished people rarely describe themselves as busy. Why? Because they've recognized something that might shock you. What if I told you that busyness isn't productivity at all, but often its exact opposite? That your packed schedule and perpetual motion might actually be the greatest obstacle to your meaningful achievement? Consider this. Elon Musk, who runs multiple billion-dollar companies, somehow finds time for strategic thinking. Warren Buffett, one of history's greatest investors, famously keeps his calendar mostly empty. Meanwhile, many people who accomplish far less genuinely can't find 30 minutes for focused work on their most important goals. Their calendars look like a game of Tetris played by an over-caffeinated squirrel. The difference isn't time. We all have the same 24 hours. Top performers have recognized what psychology researchers at the University of Chicago confirmed in a groundbreaking study. The sensation of busyness creates a neurochemical satisfaction that can become addictive. This busy high provides an immediate sense of importance and accomplishment, even when you're making minimal progress on truly significant goals. This leads to a startling reality. Many people unconsciously fill their days with low-impact activities specifically to maintain this busy sensation, actively avoiding the deeper, more challenging work that leads to breakthrough results. Ask yourself honestly, how many items on your to-do list today are there because they truly move the needle on your most important goals? And how many are there because checking them off will give you that satisfying feeling of accomplishment regardless of their actual impact? How many meetings could have been emails? How many emails could have been ignored completely? We've all been there. You block out 2 hours for an important project, convinced you'll make significant progress. 3 hours later, you're barely halfway through. Your schedule is in shambles, important tasks get pushed to tomorrow, and the cycle continues. Welcome to the planning fallacy. The bias that causes us to underestimate how long tasks will take. Research from psychologist Daniel Kahneman shows this bias is hardwired into us. In one study, students predicted their senior theses would take 34 days, the actual average, 56 days, a 64% underestimation. But here's where it gets interesting. When asked how long similar projects had taken them in the past, these same students reported durations much closer to the actual 56 days. We know from experience how long things take, yet we consistently believe this time will be different. This cognitive glitch creates a perpetual sense of falling behind, generates unnecessary stress, and prevents effective resource allocation. When everything takes longer than expected, important deep work gets squeezed out in favor of urgent tasks. You become the white rabbit from Alice in Wonderland, perpetually late, perpetually anxious, and perpetually checking your pocket watch. The planning fallacy isn't just affecting your daily schedule, it's undermining your entire productivity system. But there's something even more alarming happening that compounds this problem. Are you ready to discover the invisible force that might be cutting your productive output in half? You're working on a presentation while checking email. You're on a conference call while responding to Slack messages. You're analyzing data while keeping an eye on social media notifications. You're being efficient, right? In the same way that eating an entire pizza while running on a treadmill is an efficient approach to fitness. What if everything you believe about multitasking is not just wrong, but catastrophically wrong? What if this habit you consider a strength is actually destroying your cognitive performance at a neurological level? The evidence is overwhelming and troubling. Research from Stanford University found that heavy multitaskers were significantly worse at filtering irrelevant information, managing working memory, and switching between tasks efficiently. In other words, people who pride themselves on multitasking are actually worse at multitasking. Even when multitaskers were focusing on a single task, their cognitive performance remained impaired compared to those who rarely multitask. In other words, habitual multitasking doesn't just reduce performance in the moment, it appears to create lasting changes in cognitive function. But surely that's just for certain types of work, right? Not according to neuroimaging studies, which found that when attempting to perform multiple cognitive tasks simultaneously, brain activity doesn't increase. It actually decreases in the regions essential for those tasks. Your brain literally cannot process multiple complex inputs with full fidelity simultaneously. The result? Everything gets watered down. This leads to a startling conclusion. When you think you're doing two important tasks at once, you're actually doing neither well. The efficiency you feel is an illusion, a cognitive sleight of hand that helps you feel productive while dramatically reducing your actual output quality and speed. Research from the University of London found that subjects who multitasked experienced IQ drops similar to what you'd expect from skipping a night of sleep or smoking marijuana. Would you make important decisions or create meaningful work while severely sleep-deprived? That's exactly what you're doing when multitasking. Your "I can do 5 things at once" approach is essentially putting your brain on airplane mode while trying to download important files. I just have high standards. I want to make sure it's done right. This represents me, so it needs to be perfect. These statements hide a major productivity killer, perfection paralysis. It's a form of self-sabotage targeting high achievers. Imagine a security system so complex you can't access your own house. Here's how it works. You start a task with enthusiasm, but your standards keep rising until the gap between your work and expectations becomes unbearable. Progress slows, anxiety rises, and you end up tweaking minor details or abandoning the project. Perfection paralysis stems from a fear-based relationship with work. At its core is a painful conflict. Believing anything less than perfect reflects inadequacy, yet knowing perfection is impossible. This creates a no-win scenario. The toll on productivity is huge. Research shows perfectionism has increased over the last 3 decades, correlating with rises in anxiety, depression, and decreased productivity and creativity. We have immaculate rough drafts that never get published. This masquerades as conscientiousness. True conscientiousness increases productivity. Perfectionism destroys it. The difference? Conscientious people maintain high standards within limits. Perfectionists set infinite, unattainable standards. This killer doesn't just slow tasks, it makes starting meaningful work terrifying. Perfectionists often stay busy with low-risk activities, while important projects remain unfinished. The world is full of unwritten novels and unlaunched businesses, not due to lack of talent, but because creators wait to feel ready. Plot twist, that feeling never comes. Does this sound familiar? If so, you're not alone. Awareness of these productivity killers is the first step to eliminating them. Now that we've identified these time thieves, let's explore their alternatives, the hidden accelerators that highly productive individuals use instead. Instead of wearing busyness as a badge of honor, top performers actively protect their calendars, deliberately keeping 30 to 50% of their time unscheduled. This isn't laziness. It's strategic space for deep work, creative thinking, and responding to genuine opportunities. It's the productivity equivalent of not filling your plate so full at the buffet that food is falling off the sides. Try this. For 1 week, schedule only 70% of your available work hours. Use the remaining time for your most important deep work with no distractions or interruptions. The results might astonish you, and if they don't, at least you've had some breathing room in your week, which might be worth more than another stack of completed busy work. The key insight: productivity isn't about doing more things, it's about doing the right things with complete focus. A sniper with 1 bullet and perfect aim beats a machine gunner who hits everything except the target. To counter the planning fallacy, successful individuals build buffer time directly into their schedules using the 1.5 times rule. Whatever time you think a task will take, multiply it by 1.5, or if you're me trying to assemble IKEA furniture, multiply by 3 and add time for band-aids and relationship counselling. This simple adjustment accommodates the planning fallacy and creates 3 powerful effects. Reduced stress from constantly running behind schedule. Increased quality of work by removing time pressure. Pleasant surprises when tasks occasionally finish early. The most successful people take this even further by time boxing, allocating fixed time blocks to tasks and adjusting scope rather than allowing projects to expand indefinitely. It's like giving your work a container instead of letting it spill all over your life. Instead of attempting to multitask, high achievers structure their days around periods of deep immersion, 90 to 120-minute blocks where they focus on a single complex task without any interruptions. No, scrolling Instagram while listening to a podcast while walking on the treadmill doesn't count, even if you're sweating. Neurologically, this approach allows your brain to reach maximum cognitive capacity on the chosen task. The state of flow that often results can increase productivity by 500%, according to research from McKinsey. One simple method, the 90-30 approach. Work with complete focus for 90 minutes, then take a 30-minute break for email, messages, and administrative tasks. Repeat throughout your day. Overcome perfectionism by adopting the minimum viable product approach. Define your minimum acceptable outcome and ship once you reach it. A published imperfect book trumps the perfect unpublished manuscript. This creates a positive cycle. Faster completion, more feedback, better iterations, superior final results. Technique: set firm ship dates before starting projects. Make them binding through public commitments or external deadlines. Tell friends when they'll receive your draft. Schedule your presentation. Create consequences for missing deadlines, like donating to a cause you oppose if you fail to deliver on time. 3 steps to eliminate productivity killers. Conduct a busyness audit. Track activities for 3 days, categorizing as deep work, goal-oriented, or shallow work maintenance. Target 30% plus deep work. Implement task completion. Tracking. Record estimated versus actual completion times for 2 weeks to improve planning accuracy. Design your distraction-free environment. Create a focus-optimized workspace by eliminating notifications and setting clear boundaries. Put your phone elsewhere. Extraordinary productivity comes from eliminating invisible time wasters rather than adopting complex systems. Ask yourself, what's preventing my peak performance? Rather than, how can I do more? Remove these obstacles to transform productivity without working harder. Focus on doing the right things, not everything. If you found this strategy valuable, don't keep it to yourself. Share these productivity insights with colleagues drowning in busy work. Hit the like button if you're ready to stop being productive at being busy and start being productive at what matters. Subscribe for more practical wisdom on eliminating the invisible forces stealing your time and energy. Remember, you don't need another productivity hack, you need fewer productivity killers. Join our community of focused achievers by subscribing now.